Okay. Oh, crap. Wow, that was close. Okay, I just need to get my other computer up. It's good until I. Okay. Now, is that all I need? Okay, yes. What happened there? Okay, reclaim your power. This. October 26, 9:05. Why does it say that? Warrior training. WAR. Warrior training for healing, surviving. Surviving. It's hard to type with one finger. Fine, doesn't have that many letters. Done. Done. Go live. Great. I got all three of you on. Hi, thanks for joining me, Talia. How are you doing today? Getting comfy. Welcome to the show. I'm just sitting in my kitchen because I gotta have a specific space with a specific light so that I can. Hey, welcome. So I've got Facebook, I've got my website, and I've got YouTube on. Hello, Talia. Just gonna move you over here so it's easier to read all the questions. There. So to get started, I just want to first, hey, welcome. To get first started, I just want to welcome you and thank you for coming and watching, because anyone that's going to take their time and energy and use it to spend time with me, it is to hear me say what I have to say. It's an honor. They're taking their time and energy to listen to what you have to say. So I take that very seriously, and I want that to mean that I'm going to make sure that when you leave, you have tools that have made your life easier. Every time I meet someone, I'm hoping that I can make their life easier, minimize their pain and suffering. That's the ultimate goal that I have every day, every time that I meet anybody or anything. I'm trying to heal everywhere I go. And if everyone does that, it's going to make the world a much better place. So thank you for showing up, because I'm a healer. And if you're drawn to me, that tells me that you're into self-betterment as well, because I'm not here to show you how powerful and I am. I'm here to use my experiences to show you how I got out of the pain and suffering so that you can see how powerful you are. Because if I can come from where I came from and I'm like this now, it's miraculous. If I can do it, you can do it. And also, if all you have to do is look at all of the foster children that went through the same home as me, or any of the other people that have endured the same sort of things that I've endured, then you will see how I am much more different than all of the other people. And the reason being is because I was lifted out of the darkness by spirit, the good ones, not the bad ones. The bad ones are the ones that got all of the other foster kids and the victims homeless and addicted and abused, enslaved by narcissists, all of those things. That's all demonic. That's all those spirits down there. So all the humans are either good ones or bad ones, and they can flip back and forth at any time. Humans, because we have free will. Because when we are good or bad, we are choosing to follow either God, Jesus Christ, all the beings of light, or we're following all of the other demons with the guise, with the illusion that we're actually following ourselves. But the truth is, when we serve ourselves, we're being selfish and we're putting our needs ahead of everybody else in the world, which is causing pain and suffering at the expense of everybody else when we're being selfish. When we're not selfish, we take our existence and we heal everyone around us. And when we do that, what we give, then they give back. So this is how it's supposed to be. And it always was that way until colonization, when we would give and they would give back, but not the same sort. They would give back pain and suffering. And that's not what you're supposed to do. That's what a predator does. So everything is a give and a receive. Everything is a give and a receive. So if people are giving you something, you're supposed to give something back. What the value of what they gave to you, you're supposed to give back. This is an energy exchange. So a gift, you don't have to get anything back. But anyone that is working for Team Creator is going to give you back in energy, their own just existence. When you give a gift, they're not expected to give you anything physical back. You're not supposed to hold it against them and say, well, I gave you a gift. No, a gift is a gift. That means there's no energy exchange needed. It's a gift. They don't have to give anything. So that's the difference between a gift and an energy exchange. Does that make sense? I want to invite the direction of the east and the element of fire, direction of the south, the element of water, the direction of the west and the element of earth, the direction of the north and the element of air. I want to invite you with Mother Earth, Creator, ancestors, ascended masters, angels, and archangels, all beings of light. I want to invite you to do God's work with us and help heal and cleanse, starting with ourselves. Hi, thank you. So we'll just have a little smudge. So there's nothing in this world that is demonic except for people that are trying to use things in a bad way. When you use something in a bad way, that is demonic. When you maliciously hurt somebody, that is demonic. So that means that demonic means you're working for the opposite team. You're either working for healing or you're working for infection, dragging out the pain and suffering. That's what they want. They want to make everyone miserable. So these demonic spirits are the entities that don't have a physical body. They're the ones that get in our ear and tell us stuff. Ooh, you should do whatever. And it's either a good message or a bad one. And you know what's good and bad. And you know whether you're using people or not, but you're deciding whether you're going to ignore or listen to the voices that are talking to you. So if you're getting negative voices, the ones that are good are also negative voices because they're occupying the same space. They pretend to play against each other to get you to engage with them, but they're both working for the same. It's like playing good cop, bad cop, but they're both on the same team and they're both bad. And when you're not meddling and when your temple, when your body is not filled up with demonic energies, then you're working for this team, and they're only going to be good. So the spirits, they are trying to get into your head so that you will cooperate with them. When you cooperate with them, it's like they have now occupied your body, because all they have to do is tell you to do something, and it's like getting into a big, what are those called, front loader, is that what it is, with this big scoop, the heavy equipment that has a thing that goes like this and it digs down. I live in Fort McMurray, I should know this. Excavator, that's the word. It's like having an excavator and you're standing there and you really want to ride the excavator, and you realize if you talk to it, then it's going, and you convince it to let you in, then you'll be able to control it. And so you just have to sit there and convince it. So when you do that, eventually the door will open and you get in, and then you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be having so much fun. Do this, because it's telepathy. You just have to tell it with your mind what you want it to do once it's cooperating with you, and it'll start doing everything for you. So now you've got an excavator. You can go around and dig around and do everything. That's how spirit thinks of humans. They're roaming around, floating around, and they want to come and cause death and destruction to humanity, and they can only do so much by whispering in your ear. So they're now trying to whisper in your ear and let you align with them so that you do all the things that they want you to do, which is going to be painful for yourself and everybody else, but mostly painful to everyone else first, so you don't even realize that it's slowly coming after you as well. It's your friend as long as you're doing the work, but then as soon as you want to leave, it's like, no, you're not leaving, because you know too much. This is how very bad people are. You go and start meddling with very bad people, and they're going to be nice to you because you're doing their dirty work. Of course, they're going to be like, if you're willing to do their stuff for them, they're going to enjoy you, and yes, they're going to protect you because you're doing all their dirty work. But as soon as you go, okay, I'm out of here, they're going to say, oh, no, you're not, because you know way too much. So then they will threaten you and whatever to get you to not escape. And that's how infection works. It sucks you in and then it holds you there. They act like your best friend until you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. And they're like, whoa, where are you going? And then they pull you back in. So if you can think of a cave, and there is an animal that's getting beaten and it finds a cave, it's going to run in there. And then if it gets enticed out by someone's like, come on, come here, and they're hungry, they're going to come out and try to have something to eat eventually. But if it gets beaten again, what do you think is going to happen? It's going to go back in the cave. It's predictable. It's predictable that when you abuse someone, they're going to distance themselves from you. It's predictable that if you segregate and assimilate somebody into another ethnicity, and the people that are around them, it's predictable that they're going to be predators. And it's predictable that someone that's assimilated and segregated, that is abused from birth, they're going to be groomed to be submissive. And this is obviously, healthy people aren't going to want to have relationships with these people, even after they age out of the foster care system. When you think about this, you realize all of these foster children are messed up. How many do you know? And of course, everyone that's pro foster care and pro getting rid of Indigenous people, they're going to say, yeah, the reason they're effed up is because their parents. That's why we took them away in the first place. That's what they say. Predictable, because they all say the same thing over and over. Where's my drink? Woo, it's water. Oh, I had a cookie in there, some floaties in it. It's kind of gross. But tastes good still, so that's good. So I've overcome everything because I got lifted out, and I'm supposed to teach everybody how to lift out. First of all, what you need to do is admit the truth about what's happened to you, because you're so full of gaslighters everywhere that you've questioned reality, and it inhibits your ability to heal, because healing means you have to be truthful and accept the truth so you can let it all out. You have to be able to let it all out. And if you want to let it all out, you have to be able to talk about all of it or think about all of it. And if people are guilting you and shaming you to not talk about it, it's kind of like pushing down the dirt to solidify it so then it can't come out. So we have to loosen that up, and you loosen it up with truth, because their silence, the silence you have, they've sealed it by making you not talk about it, by using fear and guilt and shame and threats, all these reasons. And so even if they haven't said, I'm going to do this or whatever, or you should feel guilty, the act of them doing it has inserted their engagement with you, has mixed with your energy. Their intentions, malicious, has poisoned your aura, because when they think about us, our energy is mixing, and theirs is dirty. So our energy literally is mixing with them, touching each other, and they're getting all of their grossness all over us, and they're exchanging it for, we're all clean. They're taking the good stuff. So they're replacing everything. They're replacing our good stuff with their poison. So we have a big bag of this. This is all of our memories and our thoughts and our emotions. They're all different sizes of experiences. Oh, thank you for the gift. I haven't been watching all the messages, all of you, because I've got too much going on. I've got 3 different things. Thank you so much for your support. So we are a bag of, our spiritual body, our aura is consisted of all of our thoughts, our memories, our emotions, our ideas, everything. And that's what it's like. And the bigger it is, but we have all of these impurities in us because the experiences we've endured have caused us pain and suffering. So we have to start, and healing is going through all of this stuff, these thoughts and emotions. Oh, this is when I had that birthday party and it was a, dang it, I just dropped the whole bag of freaking, it looks really cool though, but whatever. This is that's what happens. When you first start healing and you break your silence, we're afraid that all of the stuff is just going to go, because there's so much, all of our thoughts and emotions are attached to our nervous system. So when we start thinking about it, anything that is hurt, that's painful, it literally is painful, and it brings back a physical pain. So when we're stuffing all of our emotions in there and we're not allowed to talk about it, we're trying to talk about it, and they're throwing it back in there saying, you feel grateful and you should, and you're crazy, and it's all making us seal this up. And so we've got all this in here that's just waiting to come out. And so we're afraid that if we finally open up the faucet, that it's all going to just go. And this is energy. Emotions are energy in motion. So when you have them all tight and packed up, it's like a lot of pressure with something. So it's going to explode if we aren't able to control it. Because when it comes out, the spiritual part comes out in our words. And so we have the ability to say words that are very hurtful to everybody around us, because we have all of this stuff in here, these gross ones that are infected, the green, these are all toxic memories. And so these green ones are causing us poison, and it's poisoning everything else. And they're growing. Everything's alive inside of us. And the infection inside of us is very powerful. So much love my way. Speaking the truth is healing. Thank you, Katie. So, thank you for the loves. So we have to learn, shadow work is the process of going into our emotions and finding the things that are causing us pain and processing them. So we're a computer system, our mind is, and the things that people are mean and the negative things that we associate, those are viruses that are in our computer system, that are in our aura. There's our energy field. And see, we got all these poisonous green ones in there. So in order to get them out, we got to do our shadow work. We got some big ones and stuff. And so triggering, when someone triggers us, it's like someone's poking everywhere. They're trying to find somewhere that makes you upset. So it's another way to say it is calling it pushing buttons. They're trying to find a trigger. A trigger is something that they are going to click and then you're going to explode. Because people that have a lot of trauma have a lot of these poisons inside of them. And if they don't know how to express their emotions in a healthy way, then they're going to explode. So our emotions hold a lot of power. When we have emotional regulation, it's like being a firefighter and turning on the hose, and they know how to hold on to the hose and control it. But if someone without the strength and training goes in and is holding a fire hose and someone turns it on, they're going to get injured and they're going to go flying around, and probably other people are going to get injured as well. So thank you for the follow. So our goal is to learn how to master expressing our emotions or energy in motion. Our goal is to practice expressing our energy in motion when we open the faucet so that it doesn't damage anybody. So we're supposed to have these skills as a youth because our mother is supposed to teach us, our mother and the community, because we don't all just learn from a mother. And we know many mothers get sick or they pass away or whatever. So the best way to raise children is through a community, which is what a matriarchy does. And so that is a way that eliminates the problems of not having a mother, because we all work together in raising the children. There's a phrase that says it takes a village, and that village is the community that works together for the same purpose, which is survival of all of us. We want everybody to survive. Everybody has a purpose, and everybody has the right to freedom and health. And if someone is sick, they have the right to become healthy after sickness. No one deserves to be in sickness. No one deserves to be born into sickness, and we are all born into sickness. Whew. What questions do you have? So I'm in the middle of making a warrior training program, and I'm writing a warrior training book. I've got on my website, rosettajoanne.love and creatingconsciousness.love. The apps, the links are in my bio. I'm not anyone professional that's in it for like all the stuff. I guess I'm an influencer, but I'm not an influencer like the other ones are. As you can tell, I'm just not normal. I'm just authentic. So I can't do any co-hosting at the moment. I've got work to do. So our emotions and thoughts and experiences are all in a big bag like this. And we've got to do our shadow work and process everything. And it's going to be painful. It's going to be like taking out a sliver that's in our foot. We can walk with our sliver in it, but every once in a while it's going to hurt. Or when we put pressure on it, it's going to hurt. And the longer that we leave it in there, the more it's going to cause pain and suffering. Same with these unhealed stuff. You might think that you're getting along really good and you've had all this trauma. Yeah, because you have a really good ability to hold it in and pretend it's not there. Our mind is extremely powerful. That actually is a very amazing thing. That is a very, someone just messaged me and it made me lose my thought, but they said that I saw the word hospital. Darn it. What was I saying? I was on a really good roll. There was a good message coming in. Okay, well, anyways, we're going to be trying to eliminate all of the pain and suffering. So our shadow work is we're going to be pulling out all of the things and we're going to assess it. So I've written some books and they're free. The other books, the 3 books I've already previously written, they're all free, and they teach you how to go through your emotions, name your emotions so that you can verbalize them. Instead of saying, you made me so, instead of saying, we're not supposed to be saying, we're not supposed to be saying, you made me angry. You're supposed to be saying, I feel angry when you do this. And so that takes away the accusations when you're trying to correct how someone's mistreated you. So even though they have done us wrong, it is our responsibility not to make the attack against us a big war. We don't have to make it a war. We can learn how to correct a person and without making it a very big, huge thing, because we don't want them attacking us. We don't want them attacking others. And we would like to ideally get them to stop attacking everybody completely. So the goal is that every time someone gets attacked, that person should be thinking, great, this is my opportunity to extinguish this fire of a-hole. So just like the firefighters going around, and all of a sudden someone's trying to burn them, they don't go get freaked out. They say, great, Ghostbusters, this is what, I'm going to end this. So then they don't do it for anyone else. A firefighter is trying to put out the fire. They're not just they don't go into a fire just so they don't get burned themselves. They're going into the fire so that no one else gets burned or no other thing gets burned. They're eliminating the damage so that everything can be protected and safe. So that is our goal. We're walking around. As soon as someone is mean, we're not supposed to freak out or whatever. We're supposed to extinguish that fire. So we don't extinguish it by attacking them. That's just going to get them riled up. We don't go in there swinging, and we don't go in there calling them an idiot, even though you want to, or uneducated, or arrogant, or entitled, or I can go, you know what I'm talking about. So it's very hard not to. And see, I'm human, and I know you are, but this is the thing. We have to learn how to curb our desires to lash out at others, to get the better of them, even though, because we feel justified. We're thinking, who do you think you are? We're just minding our business. You're going to attack me? I'm going to call you an idiot, you whatever. And all that does is make it bigger. That's not, if that's like a firefighter going in and going, you know what? Take my gas, I'm going to throw it in there. Boom. Adding it even bigger. We don't do that. We're diminishing fire. We need people that are working for Creator that are going to eliminate fires. And in order to do that, you have to be in control of your emotions, control of your thoughts, and control of your actions. So I hope that this is making sense. And yes, speaking truth is healing. It is extremely powerful. I was trying to survive from all of the abuse I endured. And then just recently, like I've been slowly on the healing journey and slowly gaining momentum on being an influencer and sharing all of the truth of my firsthand experience, because we learn best through firsthand experience. Don't get me wrong, hearing from someone else is extremely valuable as well, because it prevents us from having to learn from firsthand experience. For example, if you're going to learn how to bead, then, and you don't have anyone teaching you, you're going to get lots of bleeding fingers. You're going to be using the wrong thread. You're not going to be waxing it. You're going to get knots all the time, and you're going to be crying all of the time. But at the end, if you keep at it, you're going to learn all of these tricks and skills, and then you're going to be excelling at it. Meanwhile, if you have someone that is being taught by someone, they're going to know all of these tips and tricks, because the person is going to be telling them to do it this way and telling them why they do it so they can avoid the error. And they're not going to have so much pain and suffering as they learn how to be amazing at beading. So we can learn both ways. It's most easily done when we have support of others. Yes, it's same experience, same abuse tactics. Speaking of same abuse tactics, all abuse tactics that are malicious fall under the same category. I like to call it the lush rainy, the lush rainy behaviors, the lush rainy tactics. So what that is that it's narcissistic abuse meant to exploit and abuse another without regard to their feelings or thoughts or the emotions. That's what maliciousness is. It's being mean and knowing that you're hurting someone and doing it anyways. So when you're doing that, that's narcissistic behavior. So when you think about that, colonialism is narcissistic behavior. They came here and destroyed everything and everyone that did not do what they wanted to, even though it wasn't even their home. And this is what narcissistic abusers do. They go and find a victim and take over their home, their life, their friends, their family, their children, and take it on as their own. They force their name on you. They lie, they cheat, they steal, and they use every means necessary to overtake you. And if they cannot eliminate you, they just try to destroy you slowly. And it works. It is predictable where the abused people are going to go and where they will be. And that is on the streets, drug addicted, alcohol addicted, children separate from them, and they'll be depressed and anxious. It's because of abuse. So malicious abuse is narcissistic abuse. Narcissistic abuse is anyone that's being malicious for their own expense. And so pretty much anyone that's done anything falls under that. So we're all on a scale, just like there's a scale of purity and dirtiness, of godlike behavior and ungodly. We are all on that scale in a different point on that scale. At every given moment, we can change and we can drop and we can go higher, and every moment of every day. And it fluctuates. So in addition to that, the same thing goes for light and dark and heat and I forget where I was going with that. Darn it. I hope you're understanding. So this is my goal. My goal is to teach self-empowerment, and that's why I've got two websites. One that is dedicated to me telling my story, and where you can hire me to do public speaking or training for warrior teaching and classes, because I not only, this is what I do on here to practice speaking and to gain followers, and followers meaning they just to teach, not to follow me like a cult or anything. No, that goes exactly opposite everything that I'm going for, because I'm not above anybody. The matriarchy is that we're all equal. We all have a vital part to play in the whole community, and without that person, we are not the same. So we need everybody equally, and their presence is extremely valuable. So I'm not here to teach how powerful I am with all this knowledge. I'm here to give the knowledge to teach you to be coming into your power, finding your purpose, so that you can uplift humanity in the community as well. So my goal is to teach you how to come into your power. And I do that by teaching you how to love yourself and respect yourself. And in order to do that, I mean, when you do that, you'll actually want to live. Healthy people want to live and want to have minimal pain and suffering. Unhealthy people participate in unhealthy activities, knowing full well that it's unhealthy. And unhealthy people give other people unhealthy things, knowing full well they're unhealthy. They're insensitive to the health of others. So people that buy other cigarettes or alcohol, they're acting like friends. But the truth is, they're mentally unwell, because mentally healthy people don't provide that. Just like people would frown upon someone going to give someone some street drugs, a whole supply of them, it's no different than going and bringing someone 12 cupcakes or alcohol, a bottle of wine. This is all unhealthy and detrimental to our physical body, our mind, and our spirit. So when we start caring about ourselves, we will start being very discerning and realize that everyone around us is either working for a creator or demons. They're either trying to help us live longer and protect us, or they're trying to eliminate our will to live and shorten our lifespan, dragging out pain and suffering. And there are many people that are pretending to be nice just so they can get close to you and give you unhealthy things. Even if because some of them are even having unhealthy things too. That's it. They, just because they're participating in it doesn't mean it's good. It means that they want to have other people as miserable as they are. They want to have someone to join them as they're destroying their life. So when you understand this, you need to realize that your haters want you drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, eating unhealthy food. They want you fat and depressed and lonely. They want you anxious. They want you stressed out. And when you understand this, you're going to stop following everybody. You're going to stop trusting everybody, because not everybody is your friend. And the truth is, the majority of everyone out there does not care about your health and welfare, because you can determine by how they speak to you and the things that they give you. And yeah. So, oh. So, yeah, so I just got these and I realized that this is actually a really great, what's the word? Like a thing to use for my teaching. It was actually, I brought it out for my crafts, but now I'm thinking this is actually perfect. Because I'm going to Fort McKay to teach all of my community. That's where my mother was born. It's a reservation north of Fort McMurray, about 40 minutes. And it's pretty much inside the oil sands. They've got Fort McKay, then they've got Suncor and Syncrude and all of these oil refineries around it, which is why the food or the water is poisoned, the animals are deformed, and people are getting a lot of cancer. And so, reservations weren't created to preserve and save and protect natives. They were put there to round us up and have us all in one spot so we're easy to monitor, and while they took over everything. And so we aren't told this. Why? Because they aren't going to tell everybody this, because then there's going to be an uprising of the people. And so they pretend that they're nice. So the Canadian government is not nice. They still are holding my identifying information that they will not give me, and information about my biological mother, which I am entitled to because she's my mother. And I'm sure more entitled to it than anyone in the governmental system, because they're not related to her. So there's no excuse why it was taken in the first place and is still today withheld from me, except for the reason that it is a stealing of power. And obviously that taking it away is going to eliminate my safety and my ability to survive. It's going to take away all of my peace and ability to be happy. So that is why they do these things. The government takes all of this from us to destroy our happiness and our willingness to live. And it works, because everyone else, look at them, that have had this happen. They're emotionally destroyed. They don't have the ability to stand up for themselves, and let alone speak publicly and have the confidence, because the more that we speak up, the more opposition we have. I block them and delete them all of the time, and they are aggressive. They are lying. And it looks like there's some women in there, but it's not. It's literally men, the same demographic that enslaved me. It's that demographic, that men, and they are making fake profiles of women and then using the women to attack me, to silence me, and whatever. And it's just this is the depth of how far they go to try to silence the First Nations people and to oppress them. They lie, they cheat, they steal, they deceive, they use threats, they create a legal system where we're oppressed. They make a money system where women are paid less to give us a disadvantage, because if we're paid the same, we're going to supersede them immediately. Because we're freaking amazing. We bring the spiritual world into the physical world with our body. We replicate ourselves and make a clone of us with our body that is inside of us and that is attached to us and is us. It's our self connected to ourself with the cord that we expel out. And then we're supposed to decide when we separate ourself from ourself, because our baby is us. It's attached with the cord, same flesh. It's us. And that's what men don't want us to know. They're trying to trick us, because they're taking us and using our children for whatever reason. That's the agenda. Thank you for the likes and thank you for the loves. And they're so scared of our divine power. Yes, they are. And it's because they want the power. They're very jealous creatures. And they do not defend us. They do not protect the children. They only protect their own if they choose to. But like my fathers of my children, they didn't protect their own. The one father of mine beat and abused and humiliated and degraded his own biological son and daughters. Not to mention how both fathers, and yes, both fathers, I didn't pick two fathers for my children. White male impregnated me against my will when I had my first baby that was not his, and I had hip to hip infected seeping green incision. And the day that I got home from the hospital, oh, and the doctor was there. He was there when the doctor said that if I had intercourse, even with a condom, I would get pregnant because I'm so fertile that I would have lose the baby and probably my own life because of this infected C-section. And I was like, ew, no, because I was not with the father. And this other man, a white male, violated me after I said no, no, no. The moment I got home from the hospital with an infected C-section where I was away from my first newborn baby, which was my first biological relative that I've ever had, and he takes me away to go in and assault me. After I say no 5 times. I said no. And the sixth time, he just pushed me down and did it anyways. And so that's another thing. When I say both fathers, you get all these other white males that are aggressive saying both fathers, like I'm some hoe or something. And I want you to know that it's your people, your gender, your ethnicity that didn't take no for an answer and violated me. And then you got all these other, the same gender and same demographic that again get in there and say there is no victims. Victims are only victimized if they allow themselves to. This is another thing. This is called gaslighting. It's diminishing the abuse to take away the power of the victim and empower themselves with the side of the abuser, because abusers defend abusers. So if you've got someone that's defending the abuse, they do the exact same thing. They are defending the people that they don't know that are doing the same things they do, because they know that healing is a wave. So if someone has a voice and they're going to start calling out all of the abuse that they do, then it's highly likely that the people they've abused are going to use their voice. So they got to do their power and protect those that have done the same thing. So it's a brotherhood. Yep. I like that. Yep. 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 That's right. So when you understand this, it takes away their power. And I'm onto all of these tactics. And when you're onto it, you become very invincible to all of their tactics, because you know what to expect. And you learn which ones to interact with and which ones to delete and block immediately, because it destroys them when you ignore them. A narcissist wants to be in the room and wants to be acknowledged, even the person that they are abusing, because in public they don't do anything to you. They only do it passive aggressively behind closed doors, and they try to trigger you in front of everybody, so then you explode, and then it justifies everything that they say, because they're destroying your character when you're not around. They're telling everyone that you're crazy and you're malicious and everything. So this is the cool thing. I didn't know anything about this narcissistic stuff until recently, which was well after I've had my websites, and my whole life I've helped the homeless and taught my children too, and that sort of thing. But now I've written 3 books, and I walk down and feed the homeless all of the time. And so this is who I am and who I always have been, because I've taught my children that. And so that shows what kind of a person I am. But other people didn't know, because there wasn't social media back then, but now there is. And I'm using my voice. So everyone in this community that I'm growing up in is knowing who I am and what I represent, which counteracts all or conflicts with all of what the narcissistic abusers of me have been saying, and their families. They've all been saying that I'm manipulative and a liar and mentally unwell. This is what the fathers of my kids have been telling my children and everyone else about me, that I am responsible for all these problems, and they've been lying and twisting everything. So for me to get my voice and share all of this publicly and have 2 websites, it's blaringly obvious who is the victim in all of the abuse. You've got 2 white males and all of their white family members, and then you've got me all by myself. And then you've got my 4 children who I was like this with until they turned about 18. And then all of a sudden, it got destroyed when I started telling the truth about everything. And now they don't talk to me. And they all say, oh, yeah, because she's the problem. So they all blame it on me, saying, one called me an extortionist. Where is the money? Like, what money? Like, what? And what are they saying that and it's funny because their families all know the things that they've done. Yeah, they say it's our fault. And they literally have taken my children from me and turned them against me, which isn't an imaginary thing. I didn't even realize what was happening. One of the fathers literally was nose to me and said, I'm going to do everything in my power to destroy your life and turn the kids against you so they never speak to you again. That's what he said when he asked for a divorce, because he wouldn't let me separate from him because he had a hole and a slave worker. He would not let me leave. He kept saying when the debt's paid off. And then he was hoarding thousands of dollars every month. And he was using my credit cards and maxing them out and taking out his girlfriends. He was cheating with other women, one that was 1 year older than our eldest daughter to the day, and he's still with her. And using my credit cards for that, and I wasn't allowed to leave him or sleep in another room or sleep in another bed, and he would just use my body for whenever, even when he's coming home cheating. And not only that, he was just arrogant, rude, just and I didn't know anything about narcissist. I just knew that my life was hell, and I thought God hated me. I didn't know why I even existed because no one ever was kind. And my life was literal hell. I was pressured and enslaved into a system where all these predators used me and abused me, and their families used me and abused me, and no one ever stood up for me. They all either participated in using me and forcing me to do things against my will, or stood there and empowered them by watching and observing and not standing up to them. And so when I started calling out all these abusers, this is empowering. Absolutely. I destroyed their image, and I destroyed all of the lies that they've said about me to others, that I'm mentally unwell. The truth is that they're mentally unwell. They are the ones that have been doing all this sick and twisted stuff. And not to mention Stony Valley contracting, where I was enticed for a job and then brought to a remote location by one owner and was assaulted and degraded and humiliated and shoved into a corner, threatened with my life endlessly for 8 hours. And then another owner picked me up and brought me home and told me not to tell anybody, that he was going to take care of it, and never did. And so these are things that happen to people, and then they're emotionally wrecked. They shrivel up and die. That's what happens to people that this sort of thing is done to. So for me to be able to survive all this and call out my abusers, that's huge. I'm going up against corporations, aggregate company. This is a rock crushing company for oil companies. This is huge. And I'm not afraid, because I know Janet, and I know Janet Fouts, and I know Wayne Woodhouse of Stony Valley Contracting, the owners of them. I'm not afraid of them. They have the balls to do what they did only because I was enslaved into their color. I had no brother or father or friends or anybody because they're all the same color. So they didn't have any loyalty to me at all. Any time things were done to me, they just sat and watched or participated in it, all of the people. And this is the sort of things that they do. And so it's really sickening to know that my whole life I had this whole ethnicity ganging up and using me and abusing me. But it's really freaking cool that they were never predicting my rise. Because when I started blasting the truth on all of the social medias, like 5 Facebooks and 4 TikToks and 2 Instagrams and YouTube and BitChute and all of these social medias, everything about them, I blasted all over. And they actually, one owner went to the police station complaining. Like, I can just imagine, I don't even pulling up his pants like the man. Oh, this woman, we got to stop her. She's saying all this stuff. They had someone report me so that the police would come and interview me. And I said, The only reason I haven't called you about it before, because you are in on it with them. That's what they told me. And they had me in fear and everything else. But now that, because you are afraid, if you're in a cage with them and they're all sticking together and you can't escape, then you can't escape. You know that you're in that enslavement with them. So the chance of you retaliating is slim to none, because you're going to get very hurt, especially if your children are in there with you and they're abusing your children. You do not want to cause waves, so you go along with what everybody says and does, because you have no choice. They all stick up together. They all assault you. They all do whatever they want. So when I got my birth certificate, all of a sudden I had an ethnicity, and now I got people to back me up. I have somebody, because there is loyalty. When you find family, it takes a little bit of while, but they eventually start growing, kind of like propagating, taking it and putting it back together. It can grow a little bit, and it can grow. See, I got stuck there and I did grow, but it does damage. It's not meant to be there. So I'm back in my rose bush with all my family and friends, and I got my wisdom, and I got my strength, and I got my courage. And now they're in trouble, because it is divine law. It's encouraged and accepted for you to strike back when someone strikes you. It doesn't matter how long time has passed. And for the legal system, that's a scam. That's just a third party between you and the other person going, wait, don't hit them. I'm going to take care of it. And then we're going to decide what happens. And then they go, okay, so prove that they did it. And so the legal system is just a system to protect them, to get in between and slow down the consequences, drag it out so that time has passed and you're weakened more. Because when that fire is inside of you and you want to strike back, that's when you're most powerful. Unless you've been beaten down so much that you have to gain your strength. And then when you gain your strength, you're like, okay, I'm ready. And time has gone past and they're weaker. And they're like, no, don't now. It's over. Let bygones be bygones. Why would I have mercy on you when you never had mercy on me? We do not have mercy on the merciless, because there's an exchange of power when someone abuses you, and that remains in their power until you resolve it. And when they say, let bygones be bygones, they're saying, let me keep my power so that I can go on to the afterlife and keep the power with me. No. I'm getting my power back, B word. And you should be like that too. It's encouraged to get your power back. We need to be teaching our children that when someone strikes us, we strike them back immediately. Because if we don't, everyone's going to see, ooh, all the bad ones are going to think, oh, that one's easy to take advantage of, and they're going to use you too. I know, because I was taken advantage of, and everyone that saw it, they just ganged up on me. And when I would strike back, it would slow them down. But then because I was enslaved, they would come back harder. But when you're not enslaved, it's easier to escape attack. Because I was in a cage. I was enslaved because I had no escape. I didn't have an ethnicity or any friends and family, because of complete assimilation and indoctrination and segregation. So if I can escape it when I've been like that, I know how to navigate and avoid, and that's where the fawning comes in. So you get fight, flight, freeze, and fawn when people are under attack. So you either fight to defend yourself, or you run to escape the person. You freeze because you're panicked and you don't know what to do, or you fawn. And fawn means that you just cooperate to minimize damage, or because you're scared or threatened, or because you're protecting somebody. And so those are the four things that happen when you have damage or when you have stress. We are surviving every name every day. I report police a year, no justice still. Yeah, so when I reported one of my assaults, they sent in a mail. They are very insensitive. It's another power play. The legal system, the police, they just try, they say, oh, we're backlogged or whatever. It's all a reason to take control of women. It's to take our power away so that we can't defend ourselves, and then we eventually just give up. It's to empower the abused so that they don't get punishment for abusing us. Because the more that they abuse the women, the more that the men are going to be in power. So the women of all colors, the more that they are abused, the less in power they're going to be, so the men can stay in control. This is why over the world they allow women to be abused, because it takes away their power. If we were healthy, we'd be in charge. That's why they pay us less, because they want to take our resources and be in power. So thank you for watching. Oh no, my phone or my, okay, wait. I'm just going to end my stream on this one. I don't have to go charge it.